Hello, my fellow readers. Dark Symphony 777 with another fanfiction review. As always, a link to the story will be in the description below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on that bell for notifications, and leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts on the story. And finally, this is my opinion. My opinion is not indicative of everyone in the world, so please respect that. So, the story I'm doing a review today is Captain Dragon by Coer Alaran. This is yet another RWBY fanfiction, because this guy only writes RWBY fanfictions, because why? Hey, if he's like prolific, I'm probably gonna review all her stories. I already reviewed 4 of them, and by the time this is over, there's gonna be 7, because there's Professor Arc 2, and then there's Night of Salem. Yeah, there's those 3. Those 3 I plan on doing this at least this year. So, what can I say about this story? It's really good. It's really, really good. Like, here's Captain Yang. Captain Yang! Captain Yang. So, in order to get what this story is, you have to at least understand at least the backstory of it. So basically, everything in this version of events, from volumes 1 to volumes 3, happened. Nothing really changed except for the attack on Beacon. Only one thing changed in that battle, and that was Cinder dying. Everything else about the battle, I guess, stayed the same. Well, since Cinder died, that means Pyrrha actually lived. She is actually alive in the story. But the most important thing of that is that Yang still loses her arm to Adam Taurus. So, and that's actually where this story starts, with the aftermath of the Battle of Beacon. Yang was recovering from the loss of her arm by Adam Taurus. Basically, what happened is Yang wants to come back to Beacon because she doesn't want to leave her team behind. She wants RWBY to still stay RWBY. However, Ozpin didn't want Yang to come back until she recovers, because this is not like the skip between volumes 3 and 4 where Yang, got the arm almost immediately got the arm and then had to recover and everyone separated and she was kind of forced to do that. No, Beacon still survived and she wants to finish her huntsman training with RWBY and Weiss and Blake. However, she lost an arm. So basically, Ozpin is thinking, well, she lost an arm. She needs to have time to recover, learn how to fight with one arm. And that's gonna take some time. And Yang's worried that because of that time, she's basically gonna be forced to fall, to drop down a grade. She will, in essence, the rest of Team RWBY will be going on without her, and she's worried that she'll have to find a new team and stuff like that. She doesn't want that, and she doesn't want that. Apparently, the rest of Team RWBY were supposed to tell her that, but they didn't. Mainly because they kind of had good intentions. Like, they wanted her. Basically, the reason they didn't tell her while she was recovering is they wanted her to recover, and they're worried that telling her this would kind of compromise that. So it is kind of a play on the idiot ball trope, because this one action kind of creates the entire story. Like, the entirety of all of this fic is basically stems from RWBY, Weiss, and Blake not telling Yang, oh, you're kind of have to take a year off. Sorry. And everyone expecting Team RWBY to actually go through with it. I at least like the fact. Let me go off a tangent. I at least like the fact that this is it is. I went on TV Tropes for this story, and it said this is classified as an idiot ball. However, it is deconstructed in the fact that everyone knows it was a dumb move, and even Team RWBY kind of realizes, like, yeah, we fucked up. We fucked up on this. Sorry, Yang. And, like, this actually caused like the main conflict between Yang and the rest of the team, because I think it's implied that Yang wouldn't have been as mad if they told her straight out. No, they kind of had to make the situation worse by hiding it from her until and also lying to her that saying, "Oh, you're gonna come back to Beacon just fine." Yeah. I'm not shifting my eyes, and Weiss is definitely not looking away, and Yang is switching her ears, aren't is she? Like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. What are you hiding? Nothing. I'm not hiding. I'm not hiding my stash of yarn. What? But anyway, moving back to the plot, Yang basically demands Ozpin to at least give her a shot. Like, they lied to me, and even Ozpin kind of has to like reluctantly agree. Yeah, they lied to you. I want to come back because I don't want to fall behind the rest of the team. I want to stay in the same year as them, so that way I can still learn with this. I can still be in the same team as them. So Ozpin decides to reluctantly agree to that. It's like, okay, you want to prove that you're capable without an arm. Yes. Okay. How about a test? So the test is Yang has been in charge of Vesper, which is I guess you can say, the riot control of Vale City. Basically, you have the cops, you would have Vesper, and then on top of that, you would have the Huntsman. So basically, Vesper is whole point is they do jobs that are tougher, that aren't as dangerous to Huntsmen, so that way they can keep keep hunting like Grim and stuff like that, but too dangerous for normal cops without aura and stuff like that. And Osmond basically puts her in charge of that company, saying that, okay, so Cinder died, but the White Fang is still at large, including Adam. And they're hiding somewhere in Vale, but we're having trouble finding them because of all the damage control and the Grim and all that. And everyone's stretched very much heavily, so we don't know what is. So we need you. We're gonna have you take control of this group, and you're gonna run it for 6 months. If you're able to keep it up afloat in 6 months, that involves finding the White Fang. You can come back to Beacon. And that's pretty much the deal. Just find because they haven't, ever since the formation of it, they've been having trouble finding the White Fang and stuff like that. Yang is kind of cautious because she gets a message from RWBY. It's like, well, welcome me back, and she's like completely on guard. It's like something's going on. I don't know what, but something's going on. And then she gets to Vesper headquarters, which is like not a school, some kind of building that kind of got retrofitted into the Vesper headquarters. And she finds out the members of the group were members of Salem's organization. Well, Cinder's organization. At this time, Salem wasn't really introduced because this story was kind of, I think this story was written before. No, this story was written after Salem was introduced. I can't remember when Salem was introduced. I think it was, I can't remember. But anyway, so the members are Junior, Mercury, and the Malachite twins from the Yellow trailer. And then eventually Roman and Neo join up in the future because Yang realizes that she needs their help to actually find the White Fang. She finds out that Osmond pulled a fast one on her. Justifiably, he kind of explains it's like, well, the Vesper had 2 chiefs. They kind of got spooked by the fact that they're working with criminals. The criminals are there because the politicians basically over-exaggerated the laws. Like, so for instance, Junior didn't know anything. He was just the guy who got kind of got information. He knew nothing about like the details or anything. He got 50 years. When like even Yang admits like that would only get you like a couple months at most. It's like you see like the problem. They basically overblown the charges and overblown how punishment, and they're taking this as like the only chance they have of like staying away from jail, because at the end of the day, with the exception of Mercury, none of them barely did anything that was like worth a lot of time in jail. Yang eventually realizes that the fast one Ozpin pulled on her is the fact that Vesper was actually supposed to be broken up the next day, and so Yang completely decides to pull by the skin of her teeth of managing to find a small horde of White Fang in a pharmaceutical company. Basically, they're in a. Basically, she just took a wild guess, like, pharmaceuticals. I don't know. And basically went full gung-ho, manages to capture a bunch of White Fang, and kind of has to force Ozpin hands, like, well, you're gonna let stay together, right? That was the deal, right? Yeah, that was a deal. You got my full support. So eventually he gets back in from Ozpin because despite having only like a day to do it, she actually does the damn job. And the story kind of follows a sort of mystery tone where Yang and the rest of Vesper, mainly Roman, have to try and figure out what the White Fang's up to, because like, well, they're controlling a pharmaceutical company. What are they doing here? And eventually it's revealed that the fragments of the White Fang are being operated by a very, very out of her mind Emerald, who basically who can't fathom the fact that Cinder died, and so it's even like creepy, like the fact that she's still talking to the corpse of Cinder as she was still alive, and it's honestly very creepy. I do like the bait and switch, and the fact that that Yang constantly reveals, like, I saw the dead body, and then when they go to the morgue, they open up the thing where her body would be dead. Her and Roman actually grave dig. It's like, are you sure she's dead? Are you sure I'm not taking any chances. Keep digging. Why are you digging? One shovel. 2, 1 arm. Take your pick. Fine. And they open the coffin, and it's like, there's no body. It's like, well, that's bad, right? Yeah, that's very bad. Oh, that's very bad. Yeah. So, oof. And it kind of follows that there is one key moment. There's a big key moment. I kind of passed over because that's gonna be for later. Trust me, you like it. Where Yang eventually does get like collude. He gets help from like a guy named Vincent Sinclair. She kind of has to pull, like, she actually reads the rules, and she actually understands and goes through a lot of character development of what it's like to be like a civilian officer and all that, because she can't really hunt for Grump anymore until the end, where she gets to stay in Beacon. Spoiler alert, she gets to stay in Beacon with Team RWBY, because even Ozpin is like, all right, you technically, it's in 6 months, Ozpin. You technically, you okay? You can go back to Beacon. All right, there you go. You shut me off. And everything kind of goes back to normal. Granted, Mercury dies. But it's a really enjoyable plot. There's even like a running gag where like Junior and Mercury like constantly talk about, it's like, they're making zombies. No, they're not. 50 Leanne. Zombies. Spoiler alert. They were making zombies. The White Fang making some zombies. Yeah. And it's a really enjoyable plot all the way through. What's not as good is the character development. Now, I will say, Yang's character development is phenomenal. She starts from the cocky, brash Yang that we know in Volume 3, and her experiences running Vesper actually basically cools her temper down a lot. So she starts becoming more wiser, especially more book wise. She realizes that she starts to have like epiphanies over Team RWBY, specifically Blake's. We'll get to that. Actions during Volume 2 and Volume 3 with her paranoia over the White Fang, and realizing that with her realizing we fucked up, like shit, and her learning to be a leader instead of a follower, because her whole, like, she even admits to herself, like, I'm not the one who takes the orders. I'm not the one who gives orders. I'm the one who punches people, waits 20 minutes, and then asks my little sister, "Who was that? Who did I punch?" Like, I'm not. And her learning the ropes on how to run things and having fun and learning like all this stuff, especially when like she realized that, especially like near the end, she actually starts using like a regular pistol, and she has to use it alongside like her semblance, her gauntlet, and she's having to learn detective work. She's learning how to think on her, like how to actually think and plan things out. It's really massively well done how of seeing this brash, cocky woman becoming like an actual like learn humility through her actions and through learning how to run this this pseudo really gray police force, and realizing that being a leader, like, I like being a follower, but I realize that being a leader is like, actually, I could be a leader too. And that's basically what happens. Like, she's like with the Team RWBY, she's still a follower, but as Vesper, she's technically the chief. And it's a great character arc as she realizes the errors of what Team RWBY did. Again, I'll get more into depth than that at the end. And her entire journey through everything was just immensely well done. What's not well done is the rest of Vesper. So this is really my big problem with this story. When we're first introduced to Vesper, it seems like everyone's gonna have like their time to shine. And then she picks up Roman, and everyone kind of gets shuffled to the side. So it's like, the story kind of goes out of its way to get you to stop caring about Vesper, except for Roman. Even Neo is like, when it's like they have to sneak into some place, like, we need someone to sneak in. It's like, and Roman goes, "I know someone." and then Yang goes, "Wait, who are you?" No. And then, "Hi, Neo. I know you and her don't get along. Please get along." "Please, I'll get you ice cream." And even Yang kind of pulls Neo aside. It's like, "Okay, Neo, I don't like you. You don't like me. But we need Roman. You care about Roman? Maybe? Okay. Do you want to see Roman go to jail? Good, you don't want to see Roman go to jail. So we need you to disguise yourself as a worker for this building and try and find incriminating evidence. If you don't, Roman will go to jail, right? And we don't want that, right? Right. Good job. Good job." But like, that's the best Neo gets in the story. Just that conversation with Yang. That's so sad. Like, we don't care much about Junior and the twins. At least get something. Like, they get Crow. They look at Crow. It's like, can we jump him, dude? Come on, Chief. Like, look at him. He's so tall, dark, and handsome. Even Crow's like, you're seriously not thinking about this, Drunkle Crow. Maybe, dude. What? Dude, come on! I don't go against the lonely! And it's two hot twins! Well, at least, like, that's sad when, like, the third most developed character in the story is Crow, who's not a member of Vesper, who kind of unintentionally is kind of an unofficial member unintentionally. Because he just hangs out with Yang so much. He's like, I'm a member of the group, aren't I? Kind of. All right, twins, come to daddy. Dude! But still, the point remains is, like, once Roman shows up, the Malachite twins, Junior, Mercury, and then eventually Neo, they just don't matter. It kind of blows my mind that the author tries to pull a sympathy card with Mercury, because what happens at the end is Emerald and Mercury kind of die together, because even Mercury kind of realizes that Emerald is so reliant on Cinder that she's just not mentally there, and they both kind of take each other out and give each other fatal blows. And then cuddle together, and Emerald's asking Mercury's we'll see Cinder again in the afterlife. Yeah, we'll see Cinder. And they kind of both die together. It's kind of sad. But I just didn't care, because Mercury was just such a big nothing character in the story, because gotta make way for the Roman snark. I have to admit, Roman's hilarious in the story. Let's move on to the Roman. He's hilarious. He doesn't get a lot of character development, but he's absolutely riotous. His whole stick is him and Yang look at one another. They square each other up. They glare at each other, and then they basically just start throwing insults. They just try to out dipshit the other. Just basically constantly doing one-upmanship on okay, who could be the most obnoxious, hilarious asshole possible? Me. Yeah. He's just hilarious. My favorite line in the story for him is Yang's knocked out, and Roman and Osmond are talking to each other, and Osmond basically asks Roman's please, Roman, I don't want to hear your smarm. And then Roman snarkily replies oh, my smarm has so many flavors. And I actually laughed at that. That was just hilarious and well done. That, come on, he doesn't get, like I said, he doesn't get a lot of character development. But the fact that his whole character is basically just an asshole. You're my number two. Hey! Can I keep the cigars? Fine. Just don't smoke in my face. Alright, gotcha. Yeah. What did I tell you about smoking in my face? It's well, I'm not smoking your face. I'm smoking next to your face. He's funny. Grammar-wise, everything's fine. This is the core all-around standard of grammar. I don't even have to worry about that. Pacing-wise and sentence structure-wise, I think it's phenomenal. It's less than 200,000 words, but the fact that it's not a long diatribe, deep story, that's the big thing. This is not a deep story. He's he does a lot of deeper stories and stuff like that, with Peter Professor Arc, with Not This Time Fate, even Force Destiny. As much as I hate that story, at least it tried to do try to be deep and stuff like that. It was just very bad at it. This story's not that deep. This story has essentially one main character. Unlike the other stories which had multiple main characters. Like Professor Arc, the main characters were John, Roman, Neo, and a kind of sort of Blake was a main character. Kind of sort of. And then that time Fate, the main characters were John and the rest of and Yang, Blake, and Weiss. But this story is just you got Yang, that's it. So I think for a shorter story, this is well done because again, there's only one main character, there's only one character arc you have to worry about, one character you're just focusing on, and it's well done. I do think that it should have been slower, mainly so we have more time to get to care about the other members of Esper. But I had to take what I can get, and that's that. So what I recommend this story, it's a Colorado story. If your name's not Forged Destiny, then you're more than likely gonna get recommended. I can't recommend this story enough, especially if you're a Yang fan. This is a really well done Yang story. But what's my favorite part? Yang arresting Blake. Mwah! That is so amazing. So, we gotta go back to the part I deliberately skipped. So, before shit hits the fan and it gets really going, Yang tries to do 2 leads. The first lead was to the pharmaceutical company, which resulted in the White Fang getting arrested. So that way she keeps Vesper alive. For this one, she basically goes to a jail. No, she doesn't go to a jail. Yeah, for the pharmaceutical thing, she gets Roman. But for this one, this company's on the up and up. And she can't go gung-ho like this because she's worried that she does this, she'll push too far, and she kind of has to play by the rules. And if she doesn't, then more likely they'll get they'll kind of have to break up Vesper, and she doesn't want that to happen. Roman, so they need someone to sneak in. So basically, Roman, has the idea of Neo. Her and Roman kind of, they kind of jaunty up and basically do a standard look around. It's like, we're just gonna look around and everything. And it's like, all right, we'll do a waiting room so we can set everything up so we can give you a small tour. Even with the representative. Well, Neo sneaks in. So Yang and Roman, they're just waiting. Mercury, the twins, and Junior, they're outside the building, ready to raid it, if and only if they find incriminating evidence, because then they have the full right to be able to do that. What happens is the alarms go off. Yang completely panics and immediately thinks it's Neo. So they trying to get out because the door is locked. And it's like, what? Roman, do you know how to get out? It's like, sure. And Roman opens up the door. It's like, how'd you know the code? It's like, Neo told me. Like, ah. And then Roman basically pulls out his scroll and shows a message from Neo saying that she wasn't the one who tripped the wire. She's still in disguise. They didn't caught her yet. And here's the code. When I first read that, it's like, who could have? And then my mind immediately went, it's like, damn it, Blake. Yang completely panics because now it's like a pot. Now we don't know what's happening because now she thinks, oh, now it's the White Fang assaulting the facility. So she basically calls everyone to kind of just run down in and basically try and find what the fuck's going on, but try and figure out what's going on. It's like, it's a White Fang attack, and it's like, and Junior and everyone kind of just assault the building because they think, the White Fang are in there. They're causing problems. They get down to the bottom floor where they do all their R&D testing. They hear the CEO about saying it's like, what do we do with her? It's like, she's a faunus. We'll just put a mask on her and basically kill her and say, it's White Fang. We just defend herself. And then Yang hears Blake's voice. It's like, you'll never get away with this. And, typical Blake stuff. And it's then that Yang realizes, damn it, Blake. So what we happen? We have 4 guys pointing their guns at Blake. Blake completely furious and Yang basically goes like, beat him up. It's like, and Yang like, and this is the cool, and this is where it starts to get cool. She has to play by the rules because she realizes it's not the white thing, so technically they're in the wrong. Vesper is in the wrong. They false and they have to play by the CEO's rules. Yang basically bargains with the CEO. Say, it's like, we are a legitimate company. It's like, all right, what will it take to let Blake go? Blake is completely furious, constantly cleaning. They're with the white thing. They're with the white thing. Arr! They're with the white thing. Come on, save me. Beat them all up. Come on, you can do it. And Yang completely gets frustrated with Blake over the course of his talks because she's constantly blaming Blake. It's like, Roman, pick her up, take her back to the station. It's like, and Blake completely, it's like, constantly, like, starts calling Yang a betrayer. Yang and the CEO, I'll actually show you. I gotta actually find the chapter. It should be chapter... No. Oh, no, yeah, right here. It should be this chapter. Yeah, right here. See, Annabelle Butters basically realized that the reason they're on high alert and why there's so much security is because someone else snuck in, that eventually revealed to be Emerald, and took a bunch of information related to our company. We will, and that's how the deal works. If you don't mention to anyone about this this information, like, this information stays secret no matter what, we will let you have the fairness. And Yang realizes that because technically the company did violate the law. Basically, they hid information from the officers to pertain to information. That's basically preventing an investigation from going forward. And she can arrest them, but her pride of wanting to protect Blake allows her to reluctantly agree to not let this information go. So what happens? Well, everyone went home except for Yang. Well, everyone went back to the headquarters except for Yang. Yang gets back to the headquarters, finds that Blake physically assaulted Roman. Basically, he has a black eye, and he's like kind of recovering. And Yang just had enough of the whole situation. She asked him, "Where is she?" Jail cell. All right. She goes in a jail cell, and Blake is completely furious. Like, "You let them go! Like, what'd you do?" Now, let me actually go down here. Yeah. Oh no, she punches Junior, not Roman. And she basically, Blake still thinks they're criminals, like they work for the Vesper. They're my employee. You punched him in the face. I elbowed him. Meant to. And so she starts actually questioning Blake. And what happens is, well, why'd you go there? It's like, because they work for the white thing. I knew they were the white thing. Ah! And it's that moment that Yang staring at Blake that she has that first epiphany. It's like, we really fucked up. And she thinks back to all the situations that the stuff at the docks when, with the whole explosion, the stuff with the paladin that they had to fight Roman through the streets of Vale. They realized, Yang realizes there that one, this was all Blake's fault. And two, we really fucked up, did we? We basically overstepped our boundaries and risked the lives of a bunch of people just to satisfy, just so we can entertain Blake. And it's such a powerful moment as Yang is just staring at Blake. Not even just staring, just glaring at Blake as she realizes how badly their mistakes over these, like how they constantly get in trouble, and Ozpin and Glinda having to to bat for them because they still, at the end of the day, they still like prevented the White Fang from doing stuff. And how much that Ozpin and Glinda stuck out their nets, and she's just and she's getting more and more furious as she's like rerunning all three previous seasons or 2 seasons of Blake's shenanigans through her head, and she realizes how fucked up Blake made everything, and so she has this epiphany. She's like, she's gonna be a better person. She's gonna realize that the safety of these people is important too. That being a hunter is one thing, but it's not worth being a hunter to people who are the hunters themselves are endangering. All because of Blake's actions. And Blake starts blaming her, saying that you're basically acting like them. You're a criminal too. And she's just, and at that time, not Blake, Yang just had enough. And she starts turning around and walking away. And then Blake's like, just starts getting confused, like, Yang, what are you doing? It's like, you're gonna stay there the entire night, and Glinda will pick you up. It's like, and then Blake goes, "You're arresting me?" And Blake, like, not even looking at Blake, Yang goes, "Yeah." And Blake goes, "What charges?" Like, let me actually. Yep. Yeah. What charges? Break and entry, which he did happen. Vigilantism, which he did do. Obstruction of justice, because they were in the middle of investigation. When she did what she did, it technically falls under obstruction of justice. Interference with a police operation, same deal. Physical assault on an officer, the black guy that Junior has. Verbal assault on the officer, basically constantly basically treating Junior and the rest of Vesper, including Yang, because once Yang started basically defending them, Yang basically turned all her ire on her. Resisting arrest, which she did do because she actually tried to resist arrest. Take your charges. I'll see you later. And she starts to walk away. And I just thought this was just a well done, well written moment of like Yang realizing, like, being on the opposite side of like Blake's extreme paranoia over the White Fang. Because, like, in canon, like, the reason why they didn't do anything about it is, one, the writers are hacks. And two, Yang wasn't the one in the way of Blake. They basically enabled Blake. And basically just human her just so they can keep the team alive. But now Yang is, like, on the opposite side. Now Blake is directing that energy towards her, and she realizes this was just insanity. And it was just a well done, well written. Like, honestly, you could just read the story, get to the part where Yang arrests Blake, and be done with it. It's such a really, really well done scene. And then she actually goes through her work. She actually calls Ozpin, saying, "I arrested your student. It was Belladonna, wasn't it?" "Yeah." "All right, I'll get Glinda. She'll pick her up in the morning. That'd be good." And basically, it's implied that Glinda basically gave Blake the riot act. And it's so amazing. It's so well done. I loved it. So yeah, that moment was really, and also this part also represented the start of Yang's character arc. So everything, like, and even, like, it's a justification for this because, like, up to her meeting Blake, Yang was, like, running on adrenaline because they're just trying to scramble and keep the business alive. So it's like even if it takes a while to get to the character development, there's actually a proper storyline justification for it, because it's like Yang, like, mind was on other things, so she never had the chance to actually grow and have the breathing room to actually be able to do this. So it's just a really, really just it's just a really well done scene, and I loved it. What would I change about the story? Honestly, just extend the story, give more time to give shine to the rest of Vesper. I mean, God, you can't just rely on Roman, as hilarious as he is. Give some shine to the rest of them, to Junior, to the twins. Particularly, I'm hitting Hung Pro. I don't know. Hell, give a lot more moments to Mercury, so that way his death actually his self-sacrifice actually hits harder. Give some time to Neo. Maybe have Neo and Yang kind of bond a little bit. You could just anything. It doesn't matter what it is, just anything. But yeah, that is Captain Dragon. This was a like I said, really well done story. 10 out of 10. I don't really put it in Better Off Alone tier. I don't think it's good enough to be there, but it's a really good story. And wow. So this has been Dark Symphony 777, and